It's hard to believe I'm actually going to say what I'm about to say, but because hindsight is 2020, I have come to the conclusion that Barack Obama, for all of his faults, was in fact probably the best thing that ever happened to the United States of America, maybe to the world. And the reason for that is because his bumblings and rumblings have just reverberated throughout the American electorate. And I would say it rattled us to our senses. That is made evident in the fact that the Democratic Party is losing, well, let's say it this way, it's eroding. Its influence is eroding. And we see this in an article that I found in thehill.com that says Democrats hit new low in state legislatures. And the graph that you see to your left is the accompanying indicator that shows you just how the Democrats have taken a pounding during the Obama administration. Take a look. In 2009, the Democrats held a commanding lead. Well, what they did, first of all, is they tallied all the state legislatures. How many Democrats are serving in state legislatures nationwide compared to Republicans? 2009, the Democrats outnumbered the Republicans. Basically, they were controlling the states. 2011, I'm learning to speak distinctly, working on my pronunciation, my diction. 2011, things turned around. 2013, little bit of difference. Democrats made a little bit of a gain, but not much. And then in 2015, Republicans soared to an all-time high, according to this article. And now 2017. The elections are over. We know what the legislatures are going to look like, and the Democrats have fallen to an all-time low. This article uses the word nadir, A-D-N-A-D-I-R, which means, an all-time low, I think. But follow that blue line and see how they're following, how they're tumbling. Why is that? It is because of the failed policies, I believe, of Barack Obama. People just don't like, not all people, obviously, but particularly white people, do not like living in a culture that is controlled from the top. White people tend to be rugged individualists. That's why we... apologies to Marxists who don't have any sense. But rugged individualists, white people, tend to be more prosperous because they are self-dependent. And they go out and make things happen. Movers and shakers. All right, I know, you know some people who aren't like that, white people that aren't like that. I'm talking about, in general, on an average. Here's what the article says. The Democratic Party will hit a new nadir, there's that word, N-A-D-I-R, in state legislative seats after suffering more losses in November's elections, highlighting the devastation up and down of the party across the nation. I don't see a lot of ups. I see 1, 2, 3 downs and one, it's an up, but not by much. But this is the Hill. If they want to call them ups and downs, they can. But it looks to me like if that were a stock, I would be inclined to sell it. Republicans will control, here's the numbers. Here are the numbers. 4,170 state legislative seats after last week's elections, while the Democrats will control 3,129 seats in the nation's 98 partisan legislative chambers. Republicans picked up a net gain of 46. Democrats lost, obviously, 46, and that comes from the Associated Press. Then it goes on to say that independents and members of minor parties hold 71 seats, which kind of surprises me, but that does include Nebraska. Their Senate, for whatever reason, is nonpartisan. The reason I pause to think here is the thought comes to mind that during the pre-election era, when the media was reporting on their projections, what they thought would happen, and you'll probably remember this, throughout the spring, throughout the summer, And even right up until Election Day, there were projections that a Donald Trump win would severely damage the Republican Party because they would lose seats in the House, they would lose seats in the Senate, they would lose governorships, and they would lose seats in state legislatures. Fact of the matter is, the exact opposite happened. I read this a couple weeks ago, a few days ago, after the election, that currently there are 4 states in the nation in which the Democrats control the governor's office and both legislative houses. There's only 4. Can't remember what they are, but I know they were Oregon, California, Hawaii, and one New England state. Can't remember which one it was. By comparison, Republicans control 26. 26 states are controlled by Republicans, where the Republican controls the governor's office and the entire legislative body. So what I've got to say to that is thank you, Barack Obama, for your stupid policies. Now, here's the glitch, or potential glitch. And I have seen this throughout my lifetime. What happens is the Democrats get control, and they screw everything up. Quintessential example is Obamacare. Quintessential example is the Department of Education, which was formed by Jimmy Carter, if I remember correctly. Republicans then take control, but they leave the mess. They just don't make it bigger. That's not good policy. When Ronald Reagan took control of the White House, he should have, by executive order, eliminated the Department of Education. Does not need to be there. Students were performing much better, my understanding, before there was a Department of Education. It doesn't need to be there. Basically, it exists to make the teachers' unions happy. I'm all for teachers' unions. If I were a teacher, I'd belong to the union. But sometimes unions do things that unions aren't supposed to do, like get involved in politics. In some states, teachers' unions function as de facto political parties. Not supposed to do that. They should have, Ronald Reagan and the Republicans should have eliminated the Department of Education. And we can see that across the board. Well, now we have Obamacare. What I want to know is, now that Donald Trump is in control and he has both houses of Congress on his side, both are Republican, he has the wonderful opportunity to zap Obamacare and a bunch of other stupid crap that Barack Obama and the Democrats did. Now, they're not going to go to this extreme, I will guarantee you, but something else that really needs to be done, and I don't think it's going to be. In fact, I would, if I had to bet my life on it, I would bet against it. But in 1965, Congress passed a thing called the Immigration and Nationality Act, which effectively opened our borders to just anybody who wants to come in, regardless of nationality or ethnicity. Now, some people would say, well, what's wrong with that? Aren't we supposed to be fair? And the answer is no. We are a Western nation. We need to preserve that. We need to preserve our culture. I know what the liberals say. They don't like that because they want us to be a Marxist society, and the rugged individualism of white people gets in the way. What to do? They demonize white people.
Click the red button to subscribe.